Welcome to Raw Fitness Combine. I'm Tad the Diet Coach, and I'm here today with KALLE BECK, who is a lightweight strongman competitor. And we had a brief conversation before our interview here, and I guess I didn't know that the lightweight division was where it is. So why don't you tell everybody what weight division you compete in and what that weight delineation is? And because mostly, like you said, most people see the bigger guys, but you compete as a lightweight.
Yeah, how's it going, Tad, and everyone out there? I compete at 175 pounds, and they're doing something a little different this year where they're combining the 200-pound. They took at Nationals, there's a 175-pound class and the 200-pound class,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to have a catch weight at the World Championship with Arnold in 3 weeks coming up here. The top 15 guys from both weight classes qualified to that.
Oh, cool.
As well as people from all over the world are going to go there. Should be about 30 guys total.
So there'll be 30 guys in the lightweight division?
Yeah, competing at 185.
Oh, cool. So, and that's where you're at. Are you hitting the scale right about 185 or a little over, a little under?
I was 185 because I was having to cut down to 175, but I've been able to be a little more lenient on my diet because, the people are coming down from 200, 210. Figure I had to put on a little mass to hang with them. So I'm like 191 in the morning right now.
So how much does that, I'm curious, how much does that affect your performance the day of the competition when you have to make weight, like 1 or 2 days before? Maybe it's like 5 or 10 pounds or 5 pounds or so.
If I'm only cutting, I'll probably only end up cutting about 5 pounds, 6 pounds. That's easy. I'm actually just going to clean up my diet right now and stop eating ice cream 2 to 3 times a week, which is what I've been doing, and I think it'll kind of take care of itself. The people that were weighing 215 a couple weeks ago at Nationals are the ones that are, they don't remember what a carb looks like at this point. And, we'll see where they're at, but I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, that must affect I'm sure that has to affect your performance when you have to make drastic weight cuts like that,
Yeah.
because I just can't see somebody performing at their ideal level when they have to cut 20, 25 pounds or more to make a weight class, to make a weight division, especially in something like strongman, which everything is geared towards performance.
Yeah, I think in powerlifting you can get away with it a little more, but with how aerobic some of the events are in strongman, it's kind of right in between that and CrossFit where we still, we go 60, 90 seconds,
Right.
carrying 4 kegs and then a big old wheelbarrow back. It's too taxing. Like you might be strong for 1 or 2 events in your training, but when you're trying to do 5 in a day, by the end of it, you're dragging after making a huge cut like that.
So tell everybody what events are you going to do at the Arnold?
We have 5 events on the first day. They're a circus dumbbell, which is just this big, giant dumbbell that's 150 pounds. You have to pick it up with 2 hands and with one hand press it over your, overhead as many times as possible in 60 seconds. So,
Oh, wow.
150-pound dumbbell for reps. We have a yoke walk, just big bar on your back, 640 pounds. Got to go fastest time, 70 feet. Farmer's walk's a little light. They're only 250 a hand. I think they should be closer to 300. Same deal, 70 feet, fastest time. Hoosfelt stone, which is this big, like, tombstone looking thing. It's 300 pounds, and you just got to walk with it as far as you can until you drop.
Oh, and they measure the distance.
Yeah, and then they measure the distance. There's no time limit. You have to turn every 50 feet, which makes it awful.
Oh.
Because you're walking, and then you have to turn, and, you lose all the momentum in the direction. And
Right.
it's just a mental one. I'm not looking forward to that one, but it's been going well with training. What else do we have? Then there's some deadlift, which they won't tell us what it is.
Oh.
They're gonna announce that the day before.
Oh, just to catch people off guard.
Yeah, they just want to mess with you a little bit. But I figured, just put some in front of me, I'll pull it.
So now, what has been some of your record lifts in competition?
In competition, I hit 600. I hit a 600-pound deadlift.
Very nice.
Weighed 185 last year in 2012. I'm getting close to 300 on the log press. I haven't hit it yet in training. I think the most I hit was about 280 in competition. Have 400 some pound front squat at 425. Those are assistance lifts. But a lot of the events are more, for speed or time.
Right.
We don't do max all that often in
Right.
actual competition.
Yeah, I've seen some of the strongman competitions, and these are the really big guys, like on ESPN and stuff, and they're tossing barrels over their head behind them over a bar, and I mean that stuff looks really, really hard.
Yeah, cake toss is fun. I only got to do that once at California Strongest Man in 2012 when I won it, and I won that event, but it sucks. But we had 4 like pony cakes and then 2 full-size cakes, but I was in the lightweight class. I'm 5'7", and everyone else, if you're over 5'7" and you weigh under 200 pounds in strongman, you need to learn how to eat. If you're like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
So, because of that, we're all built kind of the same with big, thick legs and kind of short. We couldn't even swing the full-size cakes in between our legs. So at least I was the fastest with the 4 small ones.
Yeah, I guess you lose some leverage. And
it's just as impossible. It's going to hit the ground,
Oh, right, sure.
And I can't get in between my legs. It's just not tall enough.
Yeah, I think I saw one guy a couple years ago. Of course, he's like 6'6" or 7", and he basically had it with one arm, and he's just like, I mean, it seemed as though like. So tell me a little bit about your training. How do you train for an event, these kinds of events? Because I mean, I'm from the bodybuilding world myself personally, and the fitness world, and so I'm very familiar with that kind of stuff. I'm familiar with other sports like football and things like how they train. But how do you train for strongman?
The general, like my training template, it changes. I'll do more, like the further out from a competition is, the more accessory work I do, more gym movements. And once I'm within about a month of training, I just basically hit 1 or 2 of the events every other day, every third day, as I recover and just kind of really dial them in. But I usually try to start a training cycle about 12 weeks out. And Monday, I'll do like log press. It's the big log with the parallel handles.
Sure. I've seen those, yeah.
I'll work up, various rep schemes in that, and then I'll just do a bunch of, strict press, military press, then just basic bodybuilding stuff, shoulder, face pulls, rows. It'd be like an upper body day. I do a lot of lateral raises. I do a bit more bodybuilding movements than I think a lot of the people do. So I found good carryover. I mean.
Yeah, they isolate muscles a little bit better, so you probably have a little more. So
there's only so much you can, press before your body. You just isolate it.
So how do you keep your shoulders from breaking down with all the pressing movements and all the pressing that you're doing?
I think actually just doing the bodybuilding stuff in general has helped with that, because I'm putting it through different ranges of motions. Like I like to do I call them 3-way shoulder raises.
Okay.
Or I just basically do like sets. I'll do like 15 to 20 reps where I do, side laterals, then front raises, and then rear delt raises all in a row without dropping the dumbbell.
Oh, very cool.
You're not able to use a lot of weight for that, but I think it, gets a good shoulder pump and a lot of work in a short amount of time. So and also get good blood flow in there.
Well, I know they call it strongman, but it sounds like there's a lot of endurance involved. So how, in your guesstimation, how much is really endurance type training? I mean, obviously you're doing weight training, you're doing these different events, you're training very specifically for these applications, but how much of it is really training your endurance of your muscles versus, say, just sheer strength?
You just need to have you need to be able to have that max power output, but over a longer period of time. Right. There's no real pacing yourself in strongman like there is in CrossFit, where they're doing 15, 20-minute workouts. The longest any of our events are going to be is 90 seconds. So
right.
you have to be able to sustain a really high level for a relatively short amount of time, short bursts. Kind of more like football or something, where it's just real explosive movements, rest, explosive, rest. So I do try to train a little higher in rep ranges for that reason, because usually we're going to have something where it's like a 220-pound log press for reps, max in 60 seconds versus so I work a lot on rep maxes, going for 10 reps, 8 rep maxes, stuff like that.
Are you training 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 7 days a week, 6 days a week?
Usually about 4 days.
4 days. Oh yeah, you need a lot of rest, I imagine, just to recover, because there's just a lot of brutality on the body. So
yeah, the events are very hard on your body.
So I see you drinking your drink, your supplements. what kind of, so tell everybody what kind of what is your diet, kind of how do you tailor your diet and your supplements and things like that? What are the things that are important to you in your dietary program and your supplement program? At least from the standpoint of getting you ready for this show, not necessarily for the off season, but getting you ready for these competitions, especially being a month out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I keep my diet fairly strict actually. I used to be a good deal heavier. I was like I was 220 before I cut down to compete here. So, you know, probably a good 10% higher body fat percentage. I try to stick, you know, just whole foods, lots of chicken, beef, red meat's definitely good, and my carb source is mainly rice, sweet potatoes.
So do you control your carb intake a little bit?
Yeah, I keep my diet, my macros roughly 40, 30, 30.
Okay.
Most part. You know, I don't exactly track them too much because my weight's kind of, once you get used to keeping your weight at a certain weight, you know, you get used to it. You kind of instinctively know how to eat. So I think you know, when I do add it up, it kind of adds up right. But
as long as you're staying within the weight parameters, then you're okay.
Yeah, I notice when I go too far here, you know, too far over there, you know, eat too much junk, I can feel it, and then I just instinctively kind of go back. And I try to take in a lot of carbs during training. Like when I usually do most of my event training on Saturday.
Right.
So Friday and Saturday, I'll make sure, you know, to kind of keep my dirty meals there. It just seems recovery, and maybe just mental recovery too.
So now, what kind of supplements do you use for people who out there who might be wanting to do this kind of thing? Like, what kinds of supplements have you found that's been really helpful for your training or for competitively?
I have actually been taking ATP Extreme for over a year.
I take it too. I use it more for bodybuilding application, but I love it actually.
Yeah, a couple of my friends that do CrossFit, I gave it to them, and they've been trying it too, and they say it really helps with just keeping their power, you know, their endurance up as they keep going long, you know, because we do some crazy volume training sessions, so that's helped a lot. Other than that, just basic pre-workout, sip on amino acids while I train.
Sure.
I didn't finish. That's what I'm drinking right now. I just finished it. I haven't finished it yet, so.
Now you could also use that. Come to think of it, I'm just brainstorming here. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but you could use the ATP Extreme during the event, like because it only takes about 30 or so minutes to hit your system, and and that's the exact kind of quick, explosive, endurance type strength, power, energy that you need when you're because you're gonna crank through your ATP real fast during those events.
I actually do that. I take you know, because we do usually 4 to 5 events in a day. So I'll take it, you know, about 30 minutes before we start, and then halfway through I'll take another, you know, 4.
Oh, good. Yeah, that'll work.
It's you know, can't hurt.
No, absolutely not. It'll definitely help you. So, how long have you been in doing this kind of thing?
Was it a little over 7 years now?
Oh wow, 7 years. Wow.
Yeah.
So, and where did you always have you always been a lightweight, or did you move to different classes, or?
Yeah, I've always been a lightweight. There's different classes. There's, you know, in the lightweight division, there's 175, there's 200, and 231, and I've tried my hand at all of them. There wasn't a big emphasis on the 175 class when I started, even though it's obviously where I belong, just with my body type.
Right.
So I tried to get up to 231, and I got statically strong, but I didn't stairs scared me.
Well, I can tell you, me being 5'7" like you, and I've been all kinds of weights in my life. When I started bodybuilding, I was about 104 pounds. And then now, of course, I usually operate in the off season at around 240, pretty lean. I never get above about 8%. But it's been this will be 29 years of bodybuilding for me. So it's been a long haul, but I can tell you and I've been up as heavy as 272 when I was, you know, and it's, once my weight gets in that over 225, 230, you know, and above, I am strong in my movements, but it's definitely, I don't really feel like going out there and sprinting or you know, like I can just feel like something's going to break. One wrong move and, you know, I pull a muscle or something, you know, but then again, I don't train for these kinds of applications. I'm training very, like you said, very statically. I'm training very isolated movements and that kind of thing. But I know what you mean, that this kind of frame, a 5'7" frame, doesn't really lend itself well to being really heavy and being really functional. This is my opinion. I'm sure there's guys out there that can, but
yeah, well, that's the thing. Is just because some people are 5'7" have clavicles that are also 5'7", and they're able to carry a bunch of weight. But you know, I was always the smallest kid in my class. I was never big. I think I wear a size 8.5 shoe. You know, I'm tiny. My wife has bigger hands than me. You know.
It's kind of. I know.
You got to find what's ideal for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's kind of the point with working our way through some of these things that we do. I definitely feel like I found my sweet spot for my when I compete, and I know it sounds like you have found yours as well, and that's kind of the important thing. And I think that's an individual judgment call. But I think a lot of people try to force themselves into a space where they really don't belong, where they're not going to perform optimally. Because for whatever reasons, they may want the accolades for being one of the heavyweight guys or something or whatever. But if they don't really fit there and they're not going to perform their best there, then it doesn't make much sense to really be there if you're not going to be your best there.
Guilty as charged. you can find some old photos of me when I was about 218. It wasn't pretty, and I'm stronger now. Like my deadlift and my overhead press went up, but I couldn't move.
Oh,
like my legs were so big I couldn't even move the farmers because my thighs would rub on my hands.
Well,
really...
Speaking of the way you look, I definitely that when I saw your picture for the first time and I'm looking at you, I don't know if you've been told this, but you look like Wolverine, man. You look like maybe it's the sideburns, but you have that really Wolverine-ish sort of look to you. At least the way he's portrayed in movies today. I collected the comic books, but at least the way he's portrayed in movies today. So it's a compliment, though. Although you're shorter than he is.
Well, actually, I'm not.
Not from the comic books. If you go by the comic books,
he was 5'3".
Yeah.
He was 5'3", and he was 200 pounds, 280 with his adamantium skeleton.
Right.
So,
I like that. I like that you know this information because I'm a comic book collector. I have all my comic books from. I even have all my I used to play Dungeons and Dragons and all that. So I have all my books. I'm a total geek, man. I that's just the way I grew up, and I still collect all that stuff. But I'm a sucker for any of these movies that come out, like all the Marvel movies and So, but I just couldn't help it. You just have this strange likeness to to the Wolverine character. Maybe that's something you could use. Maybe that's something you could use from a marketing perspective at your contests.
I think I kind of have.
Oh, really? It's the Wolverines coming out.
You gotta, as an athlete, you have to have something that lets you stand out, and having a unique look doesn't hurt.
No,
It's a popular thing, and that my name, no one can pronounce it. It was horrible growing up, but at least when people hear it, they know that's me, so that's been helpful for branding myself and people remembering who I am.
Yeah, I when I originally saw your name come across for me to do an interview with you, I thought, okay, I thought KALLE. I thought, it's a woman. I'm like, well, strongman woman. This doesn't sound right. And then I'm like, KALLE. Okay, now I get it. Okay, it's like, I'm like, but
they exist too.
Yeah, they do. Now, I have been in the same dilemma that you have from the time I was young. My full name is Tadayoshi, and so my full name is Tadayoshi Luther Inoue. And so that's why I adopted the moniker Tad the Diet Coach years ago, because it was like nobody could ever remember my name. And I was like when growing up in grade school and elementary school and high school and even college, people just murdered my name. So I totally feel your pain on that. Yeah. It was not a choice thing for me, but I hated it then. But now I actually really love my name. And I suspect it's the same for you because it's a unique name. It's a unique name.
Yeah. It works out, especially, in this industry when you kind of have to, when you're trying to build up your own business and
right. Now,
image, it helps.
So now you train people in the gym and you work with people, right?
Yeah, I do personal training, and I do online programming and coaching, consultation. You can check me out on my website. It's letkallelift.com.
Oh, cool. Now, do you focus? What? We'll show a URL, I'm sure. What do you focus on any particular kind of individuals, like strongman or women, or?
For the majority of people that are interested in getting in the sport of strongman, like you're saying, it's just such a diverse sport. Yeah. There's so many aspects you have to train. I did it wrong for so long that, I'd like to be able to help people and kind of learn from my 5+ years of mistakes, spinning my wheels, kind of staying in the same spot and get them, be able to progress a lot quicker than I did.
So now tell people a little bit how they might get started. Like, how would you recommend somebody who may watch this and go, hey, well, I really kind of want to do that. How would they get started?
The first thing would be to find a gym that has implements, because you kind of need to train on them.
Right.
Or, their specific skill in themselves. I actually compiled a list of gyms. It's on my website, startingstrongman.com.
Startingstrongman.com. Cool.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, you go there, and there's links to there, and there's also a Facebook group. I started Starting Strongman. You can look it up on Facebook.
Very cool. Yeah.
Ask to join it and ask all the questions you want.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's great advice. Because there's always people who come to me every year who want to start in either bikini or figure or bodybuilding, and they want to know, how do I get started? And my first recommendation is always, it's a complex process, so it's not. I wish I could tell you in like one quick sentence, but the best thing to do to make sure that you put all the things in place in your lifestyle, because for bodybuilding and for this fitness lifestyle, it really is a lifestyle, and I suspect that it's the same for strongman. It's very much a lifestyle. You have to live and breathe it to the most, if you want to compete, that is. So
yeah.
So I tell them, get a coach, and if you can't afford a coach, go online and look at what everybody else is doing and ask questions, because that's the best way to do it. Now these days, with what's going on in social media, so like it's very easy to find resources for people to find coaches and things like that. So it's nice. So people can find you, and and you can help them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can just look me up. Let KALLE Lift, Twitter, Instagram, letkallelift@gmail.com.
Excellent.
Ask me whatever you want.
All right, cool. Well, anything? So other than the Arnold, after the Arnold, and that's like in a month from now, roughly.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. A little less than a month. And I'll be there. So maybe we can connect up and say hi.
Yeah, for sure.
But after that, what's next on your agenda for competing or for you as personally?
Letting my body recover. I'm pretty beat up right now. I got I did too many competitions between 2012 and 2011. I think I did like 20 competitions total.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I started getting good, and I just wanted to
keep going.
Instead of actually just bring back and focus on what's important. But my hamstrings and my glute just stopped firing. They stopped working.
Oh.
So I'm trying to work my deadlift back up. So I need to take a little break and get everything working again, and just regroup for America's Strongest Man in October in Reno.
Oh, so that's in Reno? It's in Reno?
Yeah.
And how many people will be attending that? What kind of event is
that? It's nationals. It's usually probably over 200 competitors total between all the weight classes, all the lightweight classes, heavyweight classes, and the 3 female classes.
Oh, cool. And then that leads to the Worlds?
Yeah. That's how it was, is top 10 from the 175s qualified for the Arnold Worlds this last year. So then it'll be the same thing for 2015.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Well, KALLE, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Is there anybody you want to thank, or anything you want to say, give a shout out to somebody or anybody before we leave?
Yeah, I'd like to thank sponsors. You can find my training log on jtsstrength.com. I'm sponsored by Juggernaut Training Systems.
Awesome.
Also, ATP Extreme. Mm-hmm. About it.
Oh, excellent. Well, KALLE, good luck at the Arnolds. I'll see you there. And then, of course, good luck in Tahoe, Reno, or what was it, Reno? Tahoe.
Reno, yeah.
Reno, yeah. Good luck in Reno at the Americans, and then, of course, hopefully you'll make it to the Worlds, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, well, I hope to be back. Hopefully I just win it this year, so then I qualify again.
Okay, gotcha.
I can bypass all that.
Hopefully, let's send you some good vibes for the Arnold, so you can go and just crush it. Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Well, hey, it was a pleasure talking to you, and good luck at the Arnold. I'll see you there. This is Tad the Diet Coach for Raw Fitness Combine, here with lightweight strongman KALLE BECK. Good luck, buddy, and we will see you guys later.